Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the technique Repeated Devastation, its execution, some things you should know about its execution, and some problems that may arise and how to fix for those problems. Okay, so let's talk about the ideal phase. The ideal phase is an attempted full Nelson. The reason why I say attempted is because if he begins to apply this, just like many of our other techniques, if you let them fully apply the lock, it's extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, to try and get out of that lock. This is one of those cases. You don't want them to apply this lock. What you want to do is recognize the fact that they are beginning to apply it, and then you respond to that. So that's the first thing that you have to be aware of. Now, the next thing that you should be aware of also is one of the things that may happen here as he's applying this is he wants to get a good potential of either locking your neck or locking your neck this way. So it can either go this way or this way, but regardless, they have to get into a fairly stable base. So one of the first things that we're going to be doing is stepping off the line. So if you notice, like we do in a lot of techniques with grabs, we take our center line and we move it off their center line to make it more difficult for them to have leverage over us. So as we begin to do that, what we're going to do at the exact same time is we're going to begin to drop our weight so that we can get alignment for our fists. So what's going to happen with our fists is we are going to be sandwiching or attempting to sandwich their jaw as we begin to drop down to get the alignment straight back. So let's turn sideways so that you can see that. So what's going to happen is this begins to come up, we're going to go with it and comply with it and shoot this back. It's not up and it's not straight in. It's shooting up and back to create a wedging effect like this, so that if he begins to turn his head or begins to move his head, he's going to run into something. So what we're doing, rather than using an open-ended triangle on them, we're creating an open-ended triangle on us. So keep that in mind. So also keep in mind that we're trying to hit them. It's not guaranteed that we're going to hit them, but we're going to be attempting to do so. So as we do this step and we do this punch, we then want to try and disable this from happening even further, so we shoot our hands down this way. So if you notice what happens, it goes from potentially being on my neck to being down. We don't want to just try and shoot our hands down this way because it really didn't do anything to get to their hands. So what we're using is our tricep areas and our shoulders as our major pivot points to shoot this down. Very similar to what we do, but a vertical version of what we do in spiraling twig, where we do it backwards. Now we're going to do it down. Then at that point, what we want to do is we're going to shoot back into this person and do the exact same thing that we were trying to do with our hands, with our heads, and pull them into this. This is very similar to what's going on in triggered salute, but it's a double version, and we're using our head rather than our hands, so we're basically pulling and hitting. So as you see this, it's going 1, 2. Okay, so this is the opposite of what's going on inside scraping hoof, which scraping hoof just goes straight up and does this hit. This has this insert in order to get the hands under control first, okay? So let's take it up that point sideways so that you can see it. So it goes 1, 2, 3, okay? And then you're gonna be hitting with the crown of the head and whatever you can hit, either under their chin, under their nose, regardless, doesn't matter. So now, what happens once we get to here? Well, there's 2 potential ways we're gonna go. If we stick with the ideal phase, what's going to happen is we're going to go one direction and we're going to come back up and we're going to go the other direction. The reason why it's done that way is because it wants to show you both directions. If there's something happening over here, I might need to go this direction. If there's something happening over here, like somebody attacking us, I might want to go this direction. Regardless of which direction you use, it's important as to which direction you step. If I step straight ahead towards the camera and I begin to turn towards this person, you can see my left foot is in line with my right foot, which closes off my left weapons to this opponent. So what I want to do is I'm going to step towards the diagonals, whichever direction I'm going to go, so then I have, when I turn back to this opponent, I'm going to have all 4 weapons available to me. So what we're going to do is we are going to show you one of the sides, not both of the sides when we go forward from here. But keep in mind that the reason why we're also showing you both sides is because it shows you how to keep these hands under control and switch from side to side without losing control of both hands. This is basically snaking talon from the rear. So keep that in mind. So let's walk up to this point. 1, 2, 3. Then we get both hands, step off, do our hit, and we want to push and pull into this opponent. Very similar to what we do in Gift of Destruction, and very similar to what we do in cross twigs, but now we're doing it off to the side this way. Then, if you wanted to do the ideal phase, you'd come back up, grab the other hand, and do the second side, then cross out and cover. So, let's walk through this one more time with a little bit of explanation. We'll do it sideways so that you can see it a little bit better. As they begin to come to apply their lock, recognize that that's happening, take advantage of it, shoot back at the 45s, control the hands, come back up, pull into them, lock up both hands, step off to that 45, pull them in the elbow. And if you wanted to do the second side or show the second side, you would do it again off to the 45, cross out and cover. You need to do it one more time on one side, straight towards the camera, without any explanation. Up. Hope this video helps you. Thank you very much.